Good afternoon. This is Gary Johnson with BlackMenInAmerica.com. This is our feature called It's Your Turn. This is our first show. Our first guest is Cornell Howard. He's going to talk about his journey with weight loss. Those of you who follow me on BlackMenInAmerica.com, you know my journey. I have yo-yoed with weight for about the past 25 years, and I'm just now learning how to control my lifestyle and not so much what I eat. So I'm really anxious to hear Cornell's journey, and I'm learning how to be healthy with the help of my sidekick here, my nutritionist and business partner who's helped me a lot, Shakiera. So Shakiera, introduce yourself and then we're gonna jump on Cornell.
Hi, how are you guys doing? Thank you so much for having me on, Gary. And Cornell, I appreciate you taking your time to be with us this evening.
My
So I've
pleasure.
been in the health industry for over 30 years. I'm all about the natural supplements, herbs, anything you can do to get your body in the right environment for it to heal itself. So that's about as much as I'll say.
Okay, well, Cornell, here's how I'd like to start. Tell us about who you are briefly, and then my first question is, when did your weight become an issue?
Well, first of all, thank you guys for having me join you. It's a pleasure to tell my story. Certainly, if I can help other people lose weight, get healthier, live longer, I'm all in. So my journey started, I was relatively fit. I'm a college athlete, retired Marine, all that stuff. So I stayed fit really until my early 30s. And then I got a couple injuries, had knee surgery, pulmonary embolism just from the knee surgery, a number of things along those lines. And then so I coasted, my weight just kind of gradually went up. Then when I got I'm 60 now, but when I got about 54 years old, my weight just took off. I mean, I was, I went I'm 5'10", I went from 260 to 320, 330, 340. And I had always lifted weights. So I was always working out, always, relatively doing at least an hour a day, 6 days a week of either aerobic activity or weight training. And I just couldn't control it. Even when I dieted, my dieting didn't seem to work. So, and that persisted. I was in sales. So I got out of the Marine Corps and I was a sales executive with UPS for a number of years. And so that meant a lot of traveling, meeting clients, eating, corporate dinners, those kind of things, and getting in late. So that didn't help matters. But turned out that I had started getting an insulin resistance. And that was partially because I had caught a illness called multiple myeloma, something I contracted in the Marine Corps, unbeknownst to me. So all of this is going on. I couldn't lose weight. And then finally, I met someone like Shakiera on a flight one time. And they said, something's wrong with your health, dude. If you're dieting the way you say you are, or your nutrition is the way you say you are, there's got to be more to it than that. And so finally, I went in to see him, and he did some blood work for me. And he said, you got some critical issues with your blood. You really need to go see a normal doctor, because he was more of prescribing supplements and those kind of things. Turned out after a number of tests and things, I had multiple myeloma. And so that is one of the things that triggered it. And with that kind of illness and having this insulin resistance was the two things that got my weight out of control. But even once I started taking medication for that, had a stem cell transplant and those kind of things, it still didn't go down until I got committed when I retired from UPS in August of 2018. And I went on a keto diet. And then I started, just like any diet, you start eating certain things that you hear about. And then I gradually refined a diet to what worked best for me. So I'm in a modified keto now. So at this point, I'm really doing, I focus on the keto type diet, and I do intermittent fasting, and I still do weight training. And those are the things I've been doing for the last 2 years. Over that time, I've lost 130 pounds and gained 16 pounds of muscle in the process. And I feel I'm 60, like I said earlier, and I feel now like I did when I was 30. So
Wow.
I'm really pleased with the progress.
That's amazing. That in itself, what you've just said is a mouthful. People, so many
Thank you.
people wish they could say. That takes a lot to do that. That
Yeah,
does.
it was tough. I mean, but just like Gary and I talked before, there's a lot of stops and starts before I got committed in August of 2018. That 12, 13 years of being so far overweight, there was a lot of stops and starts, believe me, along the way. But the full-time commitment to the diet plan and the regimen that I'm on today started at that point in August 2018.
Wow. You know, I'm just curious because I'm on a modified keto for the third time. The first time I lost a lot of weight, but my cholesterol shot up. And because I hadn't had beef and all those things that you could eat in many years. So then I got off of it at the advice of one doctor and got back on it recently, but it's modified. And I've started to just have some results again, and my numbers are not going crazy out of whack. But I'm just curious, on an average day, do you count carbs? How many carbs do you think you're taking in on an average day?
No more than 24 grams a day. That's my goal. Yeah, that's down there.
Okay, I'm not there yet, but I'm moving. I'm moving.
So, to that point, when I started, I said, oh, about 70. And then, the more I read, the more I understood things. And I'm a big YouTuber. If you got a story on YouTube about nutrition, dieting, I'm going to watch it. You may make 10 points and 2 of them I think make sense for me. I'll adopt those 2. So I've created, the space where I'm at this point. But yeah, so 24 grams is what I shoot for a day. And those are net carbs. So if I eat broccoli, for example, and it has 10 grams, but 2 grams of fiber, to me, that's 8 grams. You know what I mean?
Okay. All right. Shakiera, over to you.
Wow. So what I'm hearing from you is that this is a lifestyle change. It's not just saying, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, but you have picked and kind of taken things from different areas to patch it together for you because it's uniquely to who you are and the way your body works. Right?
Yeah, you're exactly right. It was the only diet, I picked this diet because of the resistance, insulin resistance issue that's a Cornell self-diagnosis, by the way. But one of the things, and I really didn't want to go into this detail, but one of the things that came out of the fact when I had the multiple myeloma, and then from that you have to get stem cell transplant and chemotherapy and all that stuff. One of the things that came out of that was I got neuropathy in my feet. So from my calves to my feet, and I still have it it started in my calves and went down to my feet, and I still kind of have it in my toes even after all this long. And it's a numbness feeling. And there was a drug they gave me called gabapentin to take away the pain. And I started reading, and it said, well, if you don't, and gabapentin, what it does, it makes you retain water, just like inflammation, which is, making my problem worse. So as I started reading, a lot of the information I was reading is that if I lower my carbohydrates, then that's what would take the pain away from this neuropathy I had. And sure enough, once I lowered my carbohydrates, the pain went away. So I got off, helped me get off the medication associated with that. So that's one of the reasons I picked this diet. And the other reason was it was something I could stick to. I mean, there were enough foods in the keto diet that I liked and enjoyed, and I thought I can eat for a lifetime. And it didn't cause me to get a sugar rush and make me rush out and eat a whole bunch of something else.
So how long have you been on this program that you've created for yourself?
I started, like I said earlier, August of 2018. And I would say, though, I experimented with different levels of carbohydrates, different foods, up until April of 2019. And so what I'm doing today, I started 2019, which is intermittent fasting. So I don't eat, better stated, I only eat between 12 noon and 8 p.m. and I eat 2 meals in that time, and then one high protein, high fat snack in between. And so I'm on about 2,000, between 2,000 and 2,200 calories a day. And that's about 70%, 65% fat, 25% protein, 5% carbohydrates. But what I really watch is my carbohydrates. I don't mind the fats and protein varying up and down. That doesn't seem to affect me that much. So what I'm really counting on a daily basis is really total calories and carbohydrates.
Wow.
Yeah, and then you're exercising as well.
Yeah, I do. Yes, I do 30 minutes. So with all the Marine Corps and football injuries and all that jazz, walking and running and neuropathy, walking and running doesn't work. So I do elliptical machine. Basically, I'll do that 30 minutes a day. And then I'll do about 45 minutes of weight training. And cardio I do every day. And then the weight training I do about 6 days a week.
Whew. So, what was your aha moment that just pushed you to lose weight? I mean, for me, I can clearly remember each moment when I said to myself, today's the day. I'm going to go back on it. I mean, someone would say, I was delivering a seminar once and someone said something to me about being in the back of the seminar drinking sugary drinks during breaks. And I was the leader, you know, and I'm thinking, okay. And the woman who said something to me was really fit. I mean, she was fit. And then she came up to me. She said, I heard you talk about you wanted to lose weight. She said, you probably could lose 10 pounds if you stop drinking those sweet teas and that Gatorade. And I remember going home and I would start looking at the sugar on the labels. And I'm like, wow, I'm out in the public. I travel all across the country. And I want to be healthier and fit. And at that time, I'd probably gained maybe about 50 pounds in the last 7 years or so. And I'm like, I went cold turkey that day, June 2012. I stopped drinking orange juice and all those sugary drinks. And now it's sparkling water mixed with the Master Tonic and some other things. But I just cut that out. And she was right. I lost about 10 pounds just cutting off over time, just cutting out that sugar. So I was wondering for you, was there an aha moment?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, I think for all of us, I mean, I would say my retirement from UPS was my moment was, okay, Cornell, you're going to be like a lot of people, retire and die in a couple of years, or you're going to reinvent yourself. Which guy are you going to be? We ended up, we're raising our granddaughter now. So she's 7 going on 14. But so it was one of those things where she had we had raised her from the beginning, but it was like, you gotta survive. I mean, it's just not you and Denise, you got a little one you gotta look after. So that was my moment. It's like, okay, what do it's a good point, aha moment, a good time to start. And I just started that day. The day I retired is the day I started. And my, I started this thing called Cornell 2.0. So, and that's where the story began.
What's your biggest struggle? For me, I actually saw my doctor yesterday, my cardiovascular surgeon. He's a dynamite guy. His name is Dr. Bang. He's in my head. I mean, he's in my head. And I know he's in my head. And he'll say things in front of the nurses like he used to, like, hey, man, if you don't want to get with the program, I'll just cut you from the team. And I'm like, ain't nobody going to cut me from the team. What do I have to do? And so then he'd get me to do that, And so he told me about 3 months ago, he said, I want you to keep a food diary. You're this master chef, you're doing all this stuff. Take pictures of what you eat. And let's see, because he says, you seem to be eating healthy, but let's see what's going on. So 3 months ago, going through my phone, he says, oh yeah, okay. He says, I see what the problem is. He said, you eat too damn much. It's portion control, So then I saw him yesterday. He said, all right, let's see the food diary. Because I fixed that. Going through my iPhone, we're looking at stuff. He says, oh, yeah, okay, this is good. This is good. He says, all right. Then he says, but look at these timestamps. Ooh, what are you doing eating this at 10:50? You know, what's this at 9? And so he says, you got more work to do, bruh. He said, we got to challenge you. And so we have a challenge now. So if I can't make the challenge in 6 weeks, then I am going to donate compression socks for people in his practice patients in his practice who can't afford them. So I'd probably do that anyway, but
Yeah,
I'm all up for the challenge. So I'm having to learn that it's a lot of things. So for me, I just have to have that mental discipline.
Yeah, I think for me, it's family and friends and getting them on the same page, right? So just like anybody that's yo-yo dieted, I tell my wife I'm going on a diet next week, and she always would bring me cake and snacks and all that. And then she'd be like, "Oh, sure you are," and just keep bringing them. And I'll say, "Okay, this is the last one. This is the last one." And then when that last slice of cake sat on the counter for a week, she's like, "Oh, you might be serious," you know? And then, so you get over that hurdle, and then it's, for every special occasion you go out and you're going to all the fancy restaurants, and whether it's a birthday or any kind of celebration. And then just getting people on the same page with you, letting them understand that dieting, let's figure out something else to do other than go eat to celebrate. Or let's go celebrate somewhere where I can eat and you can eat. I don't eat, we like Italian restaurants. And so I'll get a steak there now versus pasta dish, those kind of things. And then so the biggest hurdle is, and the other thing is, hey, let's get together, let's go to dinner, let's go to lunch. Now it's, hey, I'll get together, let's go to a coffee shop, versus sitting down for a meal. So I would say that just the environment, getting people on the same page with your diet program is always a struggle. So even if you got the personal discipline, it almost looks like you're being rude when you're going out with others and you're not eating. I've always had that kind of condition because I've never been a drinker. So, if you don't drink, the same kind of stick. Oh, why don't you, you want to drink with me? Those kind of things. There's something I don't do. And now it's like, oh, I don't eat that anymore. So I'm a little bit used to it, but that's still the biggest struggle is getting everybody else on the same page once you're really committed to your health and dieting.
Wow. I've got no excuse. My wife just broke, and Shakiera knows this, my wife just broke a world record for her age group in deadlifting, so
Amazing.
I need to get with the program because I've got a model that's been my partner for 35 years. So, wow.
Good for you.
You're absolutely right, because I've had problems with my diet, and I've had, certain things I can't eat or I can't eat. I started with reactions. My body would just say no. I had to cut out fried foods because I would just get so sick. My body just didn't want it. As you get healthier and you change those things, your body will tell you, what are you trying to do? Why are you putting this in there? And I used to go to family gatherings and family dinners. Those were the worst, because everybody's like, well, they feel personally offended because it's like you don't want to eat their food. And then I had to learn to have a smoothie or something before I went out, or I would be starving, because there was literally nothing there to eat. So I understand what you mean by that. Absolutely. And it's just let them know that it's okay, but I have to honor myself as well. But I'm here and I'm giving you, I want to be in your company, and I enjoy your company, and I enjoy everything that's going on around me. It's just I have to take care of my body as well.
Yeah, that is so true. We have, you like me, have started eating for nutritional value versus taste, and
Exactly.
it's a hard concept to start. It's ingrained in me now. I don't think about taste that much, but I don't seek my enjoyment in life from eating like I used to either. So the diet is, I always say diet is 80% and exercise is 20%. But what I don't account for is the mental aspect of it. You have to have that mental discipline. You have to think differently, I guess, too. So I guess we got to fit in the equation, the mental. So it's, 30% mental, X% diet, X% exercise, right?
Well, it's interesting about the mental aspect because Shakiera has given me some things to try, and I've taken them home and I've tried them, and I'm like, whew, now that's an acquired taste. But I know that it's for my own good and it's healthy. And so I'll tell you right now, Shakiera, the Irish sea moss, is that what it is? Mm-hmm. That's an acquired taste. So I've managed to sprinkle that in some food dishes, and I can sneak it in that way. But there are a lot of things that, you're right, I've kind of gone mental that I'm eating for nutrition instead of just a pure enjoyment. And that makes a big difference. I'm wondering, Cornell, I'm going to try to do something because seeing is believing. And you sent me some photos, at least one photo here. I want to do a share screen because let me see if I can do a share screen because, man, seeing is believing. And the stuff that how about that? How about that?
Woo, that was a big buster, boy. This was, I was, funny story about the picture on the left. I was actually golfing at Whistling Straits that day. It's a world-class PGA golf course in Wisconsin. And it's a corporate dinner. There's actually 3 other people in that picture with me. I cut them out, but I literally, and they had no golf course. It's all walking. And by the 16th hole, my cat, and you have a caddy, it's one of those, kind of hootie-scooty golf courses, if you will. I told my caddy, I said, I'm not chasing any more balls. I said, my ball goes outside the fairway. You go get it in the woods and throw it back in the fairway. I was so tired, and I had a watch on at the time. I had walked 7 miles and I had nothing left. I mean, when I thought, man. And in that picture, I'm about 343, 346, something around there.
Oh my goodness.
Man, I'm telling you what. And, what's funny about being big is that I only look big. I only think I look big now. When I was then, I thought I was had my pants, my shirt all tucked in. I was like, hey, I'm posing. I'm thinking I'm looking halfway decent. But it's looking back on these pictures that you realize, because at the time you're overweight, I don't know that you realize how overweight you are until you look back on it. That's who you are, and you just kind of live with it and deal with it, right? But when I look back at these pictures now, I know mentally at that time, I wasn't saying, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm this big. It was like, hey, I'm doing good. Where are we eating at when we get done? That kind of thing.
You were 346.
Top weight was 353.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Cornell, I'm 6'4". I didn't get up to 353. And I felt it. I felt heavy. So at your height and weight, my goodness, how much more are you going to lose? I'm pretty much there. It's, I got the infamous skin tightening situation right now. You know what I mean? So once you lose all that weight, I'm trying to, I think I go get the body fat analysis done, and I'm about 12% body fat right now. And so I want to be around maybe lose 2%. So I'm more looking at it that way than weight now. So every 6 months I go to this place over here where they do one of those body fat analysis fancy things. And so that's what I'm using to gauge my fitness right now is my body fat percentage versus weight. Shakiera, you got anything? I'm just going with the 353 thing, man.
So right now I'm about 218, somewhere around there. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. You know what? You don't know how much this is going to help others. 218, brother.
I'll have to show you some of my jump pictures. I'm pretty impressed with. I didn't send you any of those, but I guess
you can send them, and we can add them to
okay.
this afterwards, and we can add the do a before and now. So please do that.
Okay, just to share, however you want to use them, but yeah. So yeah, I'm happy with where I'm at, and so I'm just going to continue, every day, 24/7, 365, right?
Yes.
That's amazing.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. If you looked back at Cornell back on the golf course and knowing what you know now and knowing the way the perception that you had back then, what would you tell him that you think may have triggered him a little bit faster?
You miss so much enjoyment of life being overweight. I went on that golf trip, but I can tell you there were numerous invitations, numerous things that I didn't do because I was the clothes I didn't like. I mean, that was, I made a point earlier about tucking in my shirt. That was something I hated doing. Right. It's like, I was always trying to mask my weight. I knew I was bigger and I wasn't doing anything about it. But when I look back on it, all the times I got invited to, hey, let's go deep sea fishing, or let's go do this, or let's go to the beach, even a family related, friend related. All the times I avoided things because I was overweight, I was uncomfortable with my weight, I didn't like the way I looked. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I would tell that person. And like I tell people now, I see guys now, family members for that matter, that are young, 24, 25 years old, that I say, get it off now, get the discipline now, and then that way you'll enjoy your life more. I think I enjoy life so much more now than I did then, because, even though I didn't realize how bad shape I was then, I do, again, the mental aspect of it, I turned down a lot of invitation of fun things to do, traveling abroad, safaris, those kind of things, because I was like, I'm just, just the whole point of little things like getting on a plane. You know what I mean? Just like, oh man, I'm gonna take up 2 seats,
Yeah.
And then the worst thing is, and I flew a lot. I did 150,000 miles a year, and the biggest dread was asking for that extra seatbelt. You guys don't know what that means, but you've seen the people that get on the plane and, hey, can I get that seatbelt extension? Oh, I would literally want to not buckle my seatbelt, to be so embarrassed to ask for that thing.
Oh, wow. I hadn't gotten there, but I do remember on a couple of commuter flights, that bad boy was a little snug. I used to have to fly out a lot in the Midwest, and I would be on an airplane about 10 days a month. Mm-hmm. And I remember one time I was on some commuter airline going out to Moline, Illinois, Davenport, Iowa, somewhere out there. And the pilot, before we took off, came out of the cockpit, faced everyone, looked at me, and asked me if I could sit over here until takeoff.
Wow.
And then he said, once we get up in the air, we'll tell you, you can go back to that other seat, but just for the weight distro. I'm like, wow. Oh. So, you do it and you try to, put on that face like, oh, okay, but hey, there are like 10 people on the plane. He picked me. So.
Yeah, no one wants to be called out that way.
No. So, oh my goodness. What's the best thing about being Cornell Howard right now?
My health is just, I've always had, I've been so blessed with 2 great careers in the Marine Corps and UPS. And I finally, this time I've always, I used to be really fit and broke. Then I had, a substantial financial savings, if you will, or, income or worth. And I was really overweight. And now I have my health and I'm financially secure. My family's financially secure, and I just feel great. So it's the first time. It took me 60 years to have it all, I think. And so now it's about staying healthy and just trying to live as long as possible. My medical condition, multiple myeloma, is something that's treatable but not curable. So I still take chemo pills, 21 days on, 7 days off, blood tests every month, every year, bone marrow biopsy, all those things to stay healthy and live a long time. So I'm going to do my part with the health and nutrition, and hopefully the medication holds out and I can live to see my granddaughter get through college, maybe get married. So that's the plan.
That's the goal. That's the goal. Oh, man. Cornell, man, thank you so much for taking the time. I guarantee you, between my platform and Shakiera's platform, when I get this thing edited and you send me those pictures, you're going to change lives. I'm serious, man. You're going to change lives. People are going to look at this and they're going to forward it to other people, and you will definitely change lives. You've already changed mine. So I can't say enough except thank you. And man, any final thoughts, Shakiera?
I'm just amazed. I just, it takes a lot to share your story and to go back to think about where you came from. But, and I just want to say thank you, because not everyone is as fortunate as you were, that you were able to find out what the root cause was, because there's always a root cause to something. So the overweight didn't start just because of your diet, but because of something else that was going on in your system. So it was a symptom of that. So I am thankful that you were able to have someone that guided you to say, hey, keep looking, keep searching. There is something else going on, because a lot of people out here don't have that. And they may go to one person and that one person tells them, oh, it's this. And they don't take the time, to listen to the gut feeling to say, okay, there's something else going on here. We need to find it and to push forward with it. So it's a blessing that you actually did do that, because it helped you. That was a big turning point, because once you were able to figure that out, to get that under control, you were able to get your life back. And that's amazing, So I thank you. Thank you so much for coming and sharing this, because like Gary says, there's so many people that needs this motivation. I need to know that they're not there by themselves, and it can happen.
Thank you, guys. I mean, I really appreciate the opportunity of sharing my story. I'm a big believer in pay it forward. There's so many people, that help me get here through discussions like this. Anything I can do to help someone else along the way to live a better life, I'm all in.
Okay, well, we're going to set this up on the website, and I appreciate it, Cornell. Thank you very much. And man, keep losing that weight and helping others.
Thanks. You too.
Yeah, well, I am, man. I got goals now.
All right.
Sure.